Welcome back to Final Fantasy -1. This is going on to the Pravoka area to get our ship in the story of the game. Let's look at some of the things we picked up since last game. You can see we picked up some more advanced armor and weapons. I did work ahead a little bit, just so that our crawls of the next few things can be a little bit cleaner when we do these Let's Plays. So feel free to start accusing me of power leveling in the comments right now. So we've got a few more spells and more equipment just to make things go a little bit more smoothly. There is no Matoya's Cave up here. We are just walking right on by Matoya's Cave. It just doesn't exist up there. There's no cave up there that I could see. So we are heading over to Pravoka to see what's going on in Pravoka. As we're talking about leveling up and off-screen power leveling, we can see the hit point totals of the Paladin and the Viking are really going up very strongly, but the Ninja and Black Mage are really, really lagging behind, and I feel like that's going to be a theme for the rest of this game. Let's talk about some of the spells we've picked up. Of course, we have fire here, and the creeps in this one, I believe, are actually weak to fire. It's specifically weak to fire because it definitely hits them very hard, more than the other ones are. I've also got a few more of the time kind of spells for my ninja. So the ninja now has sleep and lock. Lock will lower evade % of enemies, and that could be important for some of the bird type enemies in this game. I've noticed they have very, very high evasion. So if I ever run into battles with those bird type enemies that are inescapable, a lock spell would really help them. Sleep is also much more effective here. Enemies can actually stay asleep for more than just one action. So big groups of enemies can be kind of made toothless with the sleep spell. The ninja also will later get access to the blind spell, so that adds the blind status, and I'm assuming, of course, that works, because usually on ROM hacks, if they make a new spell, they make it work correctly. So it kind of would stack on with the invis spell. So here's what we're looking at. There's blind, and poison would add poison. I believe we're going to forego poison, but we can pick up blind. The ice spell and the arrow spell are both single target for the Black Mage. Protect is it's like I think it's called fog in the vanilla game. It raises your absorb. The will spell there is a resistance, an elemental resistance spell, kind of like a fire or a ice, where it protects you from dark, holy, time, and earth. So technically, that would be one that if we wanted to get rid of the crack ability from Chaos, if Chaos still has that crack ability. We could use the will spell for that. I haven't picked it up yet. We're still deciding which ones of those we want to pick up. There's some birds. Those have very high evasion. Thankfully, they're not as dangerous in the one-hit kill department as the cockatrice type enemies are. And I'm usually going to fight ogre combinations. Ogres have been changed a little bit. They don't give quite as much gold. I believe they give 195 gold in the vanilla version, and this one I think they give 100 gold flat. But there's still a pretty lucrative battle to fight for right now, and this is generally the part of the game where you're poorest. So we are trying to build that up a little bit, although I've noticed that the prices of things have been leveled a little bit. The curve of the prices isn't quite so steep. So when we get to Elfland, maybe things won't be quite so expensive. If you talk to the people in Pravoka where Bicky the Pirate usually hangs out, they will tell you that there are pirates continually ransacking the town, and they believe that they're hiding out in a cave to the south. So instead of being right there in the town, Bicky is down here in the Pirate's Cave, which is, I believe, of course, a reference to other pirate cave type dungeons. I'm thinking of Final Fantasy V. That's probably not the only Final Fantasy game or JRPG with pirates living in a cave by the sea. So that's where we're headed right now, is to the Pirate Cave. We're going to use a tent to save up, and we're going to enter the short dungeon of the Pirate Cave. So there is a potion. I haven't actually tested the effect of potions yet. They're quite expensive. They cost 200 gold each. So my guess is that they restore a lot more hit points than potions in the vanilla game, so that you're not having to drink potion after potion after potion for, I think it's 30 hit points at a time, maybe. It's been a while since I've looked at the potion numbers in the original game. And they might actually be worth drinking in battle. I'm not sure. I haven't tested those out because I haven't needed to yet, because I do have access to the heal spell and the cure spells with my paladin. These eagles also have very high evasion. They're not really worth using a lock spell and fighting off in the random battles. By the way, that's one of the reasons that I do my off-screen grinding, is to make crawls of dungeons a little bit more smooth. So that is a shadow sword. That is a category of item called a fell sword, and I do not have any characters that can equip it, so I'm just checking to see. My paladin cannot equip the fell swords. They're like the dark swords of this game. So that would be a Dark Knight weapon, and I believe, probably the regular knight can equip all kinds of swords. So the fell sword type swords are going to just be selling bait. I don't know how much that'll sell for, but I hope we can get some nice cash from it. Have you noticed that we've got some new things, though? I've got the Ashura katana for my ninja. So there's the steps going down to the next level, but I'm going to just double check that I've cleared out this first floor. The shadow enemies are interesting to see here because I believe the shadows in the vanilla version have a very, very high back attack rate. It seems like you always get in a back attack with the shadows in the vanilla version of this game, and then they apply the darkness status, which is bugged and does not work in the vanilla version. And I thought that maybe there was a chest I had not cleared out. There's the Kenpo leather armor type, and I'm glad it's named so that you can easily see that, oh, that must be for my ninja. And I would imagine also the black belt would equip that kind of suit also. So the Shadow Sword, and later on we will see the Legend Sword later on in this dungeon. Those are references to Final Fantasy IV. The English translation of those has some of Cecil's dark sword and night sword weapons named Legend and Shadow. So I'm guessing that we'll see more of those because he has other swords that he picks up later that are similarly named. But on we go. Now that my Viking has some decent armor and absorb, he can now be at the front. All right, level 2 or B2. There's another potion chest. And this has the same kind of tile set and the same music as the Marsh Cave. So there's a table and chair. So I don't know if this has replaced the Marsh Cave here. And see, we even get a back attack on the shadows, which is interesting here. A preemptive attack, I guess, is how we would say it in Final Fantasy parlance. So I'm not sure if there still is a Marsh Cave or if this is just sharing tiles with the Marsh Cave. I'm not sure how that is in the patch of this game. Generally, I think when you're patching, you take the existing dungeon tiles that are built into the game and mess around with them. So there's an iron staff, and so I'm going to throw that down to the Black Mage, and we're going to see how that changes his attack and his hit percent. So 13 and 10, so 13 to 26 damage for each hit, pretty low hit percentage. And so there's 5 and 26, so 5 damage, but a 26 chance to hit. Or boost to the chance to hit. It doesn't quite work like that, like he won't hit 26% of his hits. That's kind of a fallacy there in the game. But so much higher hit percent with the dagger, and if it was worth getting 2 hits, like if the dagger allowed that Black Mage to get 2 hits, I probably would keep the 2 hits there just for an extra chance of critical. But for now, we're going to go with the staff. And as it is, the Black Mage right now here in the dungeon is not going to be doing a lot of physical attacking. So I'm navigating what is a little pillar maze here to get to this chest room, and that is the Legend Sword. So that is the Night Sword type weapon. So you can see that, of course, the Viking can't equip it, but the Paladin can. The Paladin can equip the Night Sword type weapons. So the regular broadsword is going to go by the wayside because now he's got 38 hit percent. That really boosts him up, so he's got 2 hits now. So the boost in damage and the hit percent. The hit percent is even more important because when he crosses over into 2 hits, he's really going to be doing a lot more damage. particularly because of the critical chance. Because when you have 2 swings at an enemy, that's, of course, that's 2 swings that can land. You miss a lot more attacks in this one, so 2 swings that can hit and avoid you just doing no damage. And then, of course, you have another chance to do a critical hit on the second hit because they are rolled independently. It's not just one single critical hit doubling the damage in a multiplier. It's actually 2 independent rolls of damage with 2 independent rolls to hit. And that's one of the big strengths of the Black Belt or Monk class in the vanilla version, and I'm guessing in this one too, although we're not using one, is that later on he gets many, many, many hits, which it results in many, many chances to crit. So you'll see sometimes like 8 hits, and maybe 3 or 4 of them will go critical. The Kaizokus will be really great for gold, at least they are in the vanilla version of the game, once you have some group damage. And I'm going to be getting access to that very soon here with my Black Mage, getting access to the Bolt 2 spell or Lit 2. That can spread that damage out among big groups. If I was to guess, and I don't actually fight any of the Kaizokus in this particular crawl, if I was to guess, I would say that their gold probably has been leveled out by the Pink Puff, who is the author of this patch. By the way, you can find all the information about how to find this patch and also a spell list and a user list of the spells in the description below. I don't have a comprehensive list of all of the equipment in this game and its statistics. If you do find one, let me know. I would love to add that to my research on this one, because right now I just have access to the spell lists. And so here we are to the final room. There is Bicky, and he says the same text that he says in the vanilla version. He even has the all capital ship, although it looks like Bicky is in the battle with us, which is I don't believe the case in the vanilla version of the game. He says, "Mates, get those landlubbers," and we go after all the vanilla pirates. But so we have a raider right there. So the raider is going to have a lot more hit points and can do a lot more damage. And so we're going to go to work. I'm having my big heavy hitters go after the raider. The ninja is casting sleep, which is actually what the vanilla version is kind of famous for, saying use the sleep spell on the pirates. That's kind of the only time that the spell really becomes useful in the vanilla version of the game is if you have a Black Mage that's casting some sleep spells, although you really just want your Black Mage taking out pirates. And so we're going to cast Sleep, and then we're going to cast the Invis spell. That's not really necessary. I did that just in case the pirates were buffed up, but it looks like the pirates were not buffed up very high, if at all, that a single fire spell does take them down 40 damage terminated. But sometimes hacks of this game will have really highly buffed up pirates. I'm particularly thinking of Final Fantasy ZZ, where all of the pirates have a status attack, and I can't remember if it's sleep or stun. But the pirates themselves have a status attack that can immobilize your characters as they attack you. And of course, there's 9 of them, so the sleep spell really is important there. So there's the Raider on Dan. It attacked for 53 damage, and that's through Dan's, I think, had 5 absorb. So I don't know what the attack multiplier is from that guy, but it was really, really nasty. 53 damage right through Dan. That's even if Dan was at full health, he probably could have survived it from full health, but not very well. So you can see Cal there has 2 hits, 127. That's really nice damage readout. Everything else on this battle is going to go pretty smoothly. We're just going to finish up with our physical attacks here. It will be sad that Dan will miss out on more experience. That's something that happens in the vanilla version of this game. You really often will try to keep your character's experience even, but it's often just not possible, especially if you have Black Mages. And that's the same dialogue right there. Okay, you got me, take my ship. And then I won't be any more bother, I promise. That's also the same thing Bicky says in the vanilla version of the game. So this battle, I'm just going to fight these 2 pirates and see what their experience and gold readouts are for 2 of them. Keeping in mind for the experience that it's being split among 3 characters and not among 4, as it is kind of thought to be or designed to be. So 80 gold, though, that's a pretty nice gold amount. So for 2 pirates, that's 40 gold each. So if you need gold, this would be a pretty good dungeon to come back to. And we may indeed be coming back to this one if we get to Elfland and discover that the magic spells I need for the next level are 1,500 each. Although my guess would be that that curve has been evened out as we continue on. So far, I've been very happy with the design of this patch. It's a challenge in this game to have a hack of this game that doesn't just make it really, really hard. Here we have a little bit of a glitch right there, because the game at that point is not letting me go down and out of that door. But when I reset it and walk down through it, it does let me through. So I don't know if that is a problem in the patch of this game or the way that my emulator is running it. It's something that I don't want to point fingers at the designer of this patch, because it could be something that's happening on my end. But here's hoping that that doesn't happen anymore. So now we have the ship, which you notice does not need a dock to land in this game. It can land anywhere on the world that you can access. So that will be interesting to see where in the world we can explore. If you like this video, do hit the thumbs up button. And if you have questions or comments, do let me know. I try to get back to those comments as quickly as I can. Or hit me up on Twitter, where I'm also active _ATE. We will see you next time.